These are the top 10 players who have opted into College Football 25, along with their expected overall rating in the game. And the top 3 might surprise you. These players have publicly announced their involvement in College Football 25 via Twitter, and networks like Fox Sports and ESPN have backed up the reports. So you can rest assured these players will be in the game, from their face scans, names on the back of their jerseys, and most likely their signature celebrations and throwing animations. The 3 metrics I use for putting these rankings and ratings together are: 1, if they publicly opted into the game. 2, their stats and rankings from their 2023 season and how they finished out the year. So if they played well during the beginning of the season and then tanked towards the end, the ratings will reflect that trend. And finally, number 3, the ratings adjustment formula. This is a numerical value for a player's physical and talent skill set. So when it comes to speed, awareness, throw power for a quarterback, or tackling and zone coverage for a defensive player, all of these are accumulated into one single number: the player's overall rating. Before we get into this list, I'd like to know in the comment section, which players are you guys most excited to use in College Football 25, and what do you think their ratings would be? Also, be sure to subscribe to the channel for more updates on the game. But without further ado, here's my top 10 list. All right, coming in at number 10, ranked 15th in the top 100 players list according to ESPN. 83 catches, 1,197 yards, and 9 touchdowns. All right, his 5 straight 100-yard games drove the Tigers' early unbeaten start, and he was pretty much instrumental in their first major bowl bid since 2013. He was 9th in the league in receiving yards last season, so it's no question he had to make this list. I have Luther Burden III coming in at 83 overall in College Football 25. All right, coming in at number 9, credit Ole Miss for seeing this guy's potential, because after last season, Quinshon Judkins, nobody's going to overlook this guy. All right, as a freshman, he led the SEC in rushing yards while also setting the single season rushing record at Ole Miss for yards and rushing touchdowns. He was over 1,500 yards, 16 touchdowns. CBS named him Freshman of the Year, and he's likely to be in the low 80s. So I got him at an 83 overall. Probably going to be a really fun running back to use in College Football 25. All right, number 8, Jackson Dart from Ole Miss opened the season as an early potential Heisman Trophy candidate, and while that didn't ultimately come to fruition, he is on the right path and is expected to be one of the nation's best quarterback prospects, headed into 2024. All right, he finished the season with 3,364 yards, 23 touchdowns, and just 5 interceptions. He will likely be amongst the highest rated players on his team. I got him at a whopping 84 overall. All right, number 7. I've been hearing a lot of noise coming from Texas, but not from the QB number 1, Quinn Ewers, University of Texas. Quarterbacks should be some of the highest rated players in the game, and I think Quinn probably has a strong case to be QB number 1. Obviously, he's going to be the number 1 quarterback in Texas. Arch Manning opting not to be in the game, and he enters his 3rd season in the same offensive system, and the Longhorns offense should be one of the best to control if you're looking to beat up your buddy in the game. All right, he finished the 2023 season with 3,479 yards, 2 touchdowns, and just 6 interceptions. I have Ewers at an 87 overall. 87 overall in College Football 25. All right, coming in at number 6, sophomore out of Oklahoma State, currently ranked 11th in the league in ESPN's top 100 list. And for 2023, he was the Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year after running for 1,732 yards and 21 touchdowns. He also had over 250 scrimmage yards against Kansas, West Virginia, and Cincinnati last season, and was the only FBS player in the last 10 years do so in 3 straight games. He led the league in rushing and 2nd in touchdowns. This was tough, but I had to put Gordon at a 90 overall, most likely the best running back in the game amongst those that have already opted in. All right, coming in at number 5, the first defensive back on this list, Caleb Downs, a starter from the outset and ranked number 39th in the top 100. Downs lived up to the hype as one of the top recruits in the country and played well. He led the Crimson Tide with 101 tackles, forced 1 fumble, 2 interceptions, and a punt return for a touchdown. So I have Downs as a 91 overall in college football. All right, coming in at number 4, currently ranked 22nd in the top 100 list, Carson Beck from Georgia had the impossible impossible task of replacing former Georgia quarterback Stetson Benton, who led the Bulldogs to a back-to-back national championship title in 2021 and 2022. But all Beck did in his first season was, complete 72% of his passes, went for 3,941 yards, 24 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. Georgia went 13-1, so it's no question he had to be on this list. He is the true definition of an underdog and displayed leadership qualities in his first season as a starter. I have Carson Beck at a 91 overall as well in College Football 25. All right, number 3 on my list. All right, one of the original strategies in the old video game was finding out how to get more talent on a kick return team. All right, NCAA 14 typically didn't have the fastest, return guys, so users had to edit the depth chart. But with Travis Hunter on the team, they don't got to do that anymore. All right, Hunter brings something unique to College Football 25 that we haven't seen for a long time. He'll play every part of the game, from cornerback to wide receiver to kick returner and punter. The Colorado standout and former #1 high school recruit will do all of it. All right, he's ranked 35th in the top 100 list, and in 9 games, just 9 games, he had 57 catches, 721 yards, and 5 touchdowns. This was equally impressive on defense with 3 interceptions. He will be a fun player to utilize for this summer, and he is most likely going to be in the low 90s. I'm giving him a 92 overall in this game. All right, number 2, the Will Johnson Discord rages on. All right, and the bandwagon continues filling up by the day. Arguably the best cornerback in the country, and he's been a lockdown player for the national championship winning Michigan Wolverines defense. All right, this year we'll see how high he can raise in the draft stock system, but he'll be one of the best players in EA Sports College Football 25. That's without a doubt. And with his size, agility, and speed, combined with top-tier ball skills and impressive physicality, I got Johnson at a high 94 overall and arguably the best cornerback in the game. And that brings us to our number 1 player. Now, I know I'm going to get a lot of backlash for this one, but if we're keeping it strictly on stats from last season, not wins, but stats, all right, physical attributes, and how we know EA Sports is going to adjust and formulate these ratings, it's no question who will be the best player overall wise in College Football 25, who has opted into the game so far. Keep that in mind.
You know what I'm saying? EA Sports, we do business.
And Shedeur Sanders, quarterback for Colorado. There are other players I could have put here. All right, so we've seen Arch Manning publicly opting out of the game, but we don't know just yet who has discreetly done the same. Although Sanders has not publicly stated his involvement with College Football 25, it's safe to say, based off of his recent Twitter post about the game, that he will be in it. Sanders finished the season with 3,230 yards, 27 touchdowns, and just 3 interceptions. And if we're not looking at the record, he has to be on everyone's top 10 list going into this game that have publicly opted into it. He's one of the fastest quarterbacks in college football, has a powerful arm, and makes really, really good decisions with the ball. I think when you look at it from that perspective, from a ratings adjustment perspective, is no question he'll be one of the best players to use. And that's why he'll likely be in the mid 90 overall, and I have him coming in on this list as a 94. But that'll do it for this list. I can already see all the comments in disbelief in the section below this video. And I already know, I know people are going to disagree and going to say how insane this list is, but this is my list at the end of the day. And based on EA Sports track record, this will be likely the closest to their actual ratings. But I'd love to know who your top 10 players are. And if you made it this far, why not go a little further? I'd love to know. Comment below your top 10 list and I'll rate yours, and we'll go from there. But that'll do it for this video. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.